What's up, fam? So in the last video, man, I spoke about, the state of Israel. Then, meaning in the past, now, and later in the future. All right. So I wanted to to kind of continue for where we ended, right? Talking about later, we are destined to be in the kingdom. All right. But there are certain things that we gotta understand about the kingdom and what the kingdom is going to be like, because it's going to be nothing like right now. Nothing like our later is going to be nothing like now. And so the Most High is preparing us. He's making us ready for later. You can't remain, following the patterns and the ways of this world and also make it into the kingdom. Change is necessary. You got to repent. All right. And the problem is going to be for many people, they're going to have trouble with changing. They're going to have trouble with the new way of things. They don't want the Most High's way of order. They don't want his way of doing things, right? And many of our women aren't going to make it because, they're feminists. All right. They have a feminist, mindset, all right? Everything about them, all right? And it's almost impossible for them to not, if you've grown up in Western society, all of the programming, you know, will will create a feminist demon, all right? But this word of God, though, it'll destroy all that. It'll tear it down if that soul is meant to be saved, if that person is meant to be transformed, if they're meant to change. But many cannot and they will not. But it's important for the good women, the good sisters, to separate from those who are not. Stop being of one mind and one body with them. All right. You got to separate from them. All right. They are not your sisters. All right. They are not spiritual Israel. They are carnal and they will be destroyed. Don't be destroyed with them for trying to be part of some wicked satanic sisterhood of heathenry. All right. Fellas, same thing. Many men won't make it. All right. Don't um, be joined unto them and go down with them. Don't be heathens right along with them. Don't start doing things that you ought not to do just to have friendships and fellowship, relationships with these individuals. Don't do it. All right. We are now in the time where the Most High is preparing the world for his way, right? That whole feminist position of down with the patriarchy, where do you think that comes from? If the Most High is the ultimate patriarch, where would this anti-patriarchy sentiment and agenda come from? It will come from Satan. That makes feminism a product of Satan. It's Satan's handiwork, right? The Most High is restoring patriarchy. He's bringing it back. He's bringing the old way back. And many women aren't gonna like the old way because they love the new way. They get many perks out of the new way. They got so many perks from Satan's system that they don't want to let go of it. They don't want to give it up. They don't want to live godly. They don't want to live according to the scriptures, according to the Bible, according to the Most High. They don't want his way to ever come. You see, that's why they are the biggest and the most, they are the biggest instruments of white supremacy, of Satan's army. They are the biggest, most willing tools of our oppression and of our downfall. All right. They always, have a tendency of joining hand in hand with our enemies, with our oppressors, in order to keep us down. And I mean us as in the men and as in the community, because they make us deal with the devil in order for them to receive trinkets, to receive some blessings. That's what you want to call them, but from Satan for joining with them against his enemy, which is the men of God, the men of Yahawah. And so they're going to fight against this truth and they're going to fight against the change that is necessary. All right. Because there are certain roles for men and there are roles for women. No matter what this world teaches you about how there are no gender roles, there shouldn't be any gender roles, and how they're trying to redefine what the gender roles are. And right. They have socially engineered women to believe that, they are not supposed to work if they have a man. No, that's not what the Bible says. A woman is supposed to work to help her man. Eve was created so that she could be a helper to Adam. Adam was given a task of tending to the garden. Eve was created to help him. Her entire function was to help him, help him work, help him fulfill his purpose. That's what women are supposed to do. Help men fulfill their purpose. Men, not try to find a man who can help them fulfill their purpose. Not try to find a man who's willing to take care of them and expect nothing in return. No, see, that's Satan's world. That's Satan's social engineering programming. All right. So we got to get out of this mindset of this world and get ready for what's to come. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. Many people are going to die. Remember, there are many people that are going to make it into the wilderness, and then they're going to be purged out. They're going to be rebels. They're not going to want to be there. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a whole lot of Israelite women who are going to get purged out. We're going to watch them be killed. They're going to die. They're not going to want Yahawashi to rule over them. They're not going to want to follow his order and instruction. They aren't going to want to follow his way. They're going to want the old way of this world, right? They're not going to like the idea of sharing a man, and they don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Women, once upon a time, they didn't have no problem with it, but the women now, they got a problem with it, and they only have a problem with it because it is Satan's social engineering. If they weren't socially engineered to hate it, to be opposed to it, to feel like, there should only be one man and one woman, that's social engineering. That's not our biology. That's not the way we were created. That is, again, a product of programming and propaganda. They're not going to want to change, but you're going to have to change because the ways of the kingdom will not be the ways of this world. So your crown has a purpose, right? We're not just waking up to be informed, right? We're waking up to be restored and to be restored to the order that Yahawah established from the beginning. He's not going to adapt to this current world order and structure. No, he's going to change it and convert it back to what it was, to what he wants it to be. Again, hence the rise of the red pill community. Like it or not, ladies, the Most High is responsible for the red pill community because that is closer to the Most High structure and order, to the way the Most High wants men to operate, to feel, to think, and to understand women. Remember, we are told to dwell with women according to knowledge, meaning you got to know who they are. The red pill community teaches who women are. It teaches female nature, helps men to awaken to who women really are and not the ideal, right, of what women should be, or what we want them to be, or how we want to view them. No, view them for who they are, not for who you want them to be, right? Yes, upward patriarchy, making men men again, right? Bringing back masculinity, but women hate it. They hate every man who talks like a man. They want simps and chumps, men that they can run over, men who just obey them like they're goddesses. All those women with that mindset, they're going to die. They're not going to make it, okay? So the order of the Most High, that includes roles, gender roles, right? Familial roles, social roles, responsibilities, and rewards for both men and women in the nation, right? In the kingdom, the Most High is not handing out crowns to bench warmers, all right? He's setting his government in place right now. This is what is happening, all right? And if we don't understand what's expected of us as Israelite men and women, we won't be prepared to rule. Sorry, this lesson is about getting in order right now so that we can reign later. You got to know what all of this is about, what this awakening is about. We're being prepared for later. You have to convert. You have to switch over, otherwise you will die. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the role of Israelite men. All right. Israelite men are called to lead, but to lead in righteousness, not the way, that leadership is shown in this world, but lead in righteousness. And it's not about how much money you got. The Most High doesn't judge men based off of how much money they got. That's what women do in this current society. All right. The Most High isn't judging a man's riches. All right. He's judging the man's heart. He's making us righteous. And the most high value men, the men who are going to be the kings and ruling the earth later, are some of the poorest men on the planet right now, being looked over and disrespected by women right now because they aren't high earners. They don't have a whole lot of stuff in this world. So women are looking over them, looking past them. The men that they should be chasing, they despise. All right. Because again, they have been conditioned by Satan and his programming on what kind of men to exalt, what kind of men to desire. And of course, if you're Satan and you get to corrupt women and utilize women for your agenda, who would you put them against? The righteous sons of the Most High Yahweh. Ain't that who you would put them against? Absolutely. That's who you hate the most. And so that's who you would make them hate the most. All right. And that's what we're watching. This whole ninjas ain't ish and all the hate of the black man is going to be the ruin of the black woman. It's going to be the ruin of all people, of all nations who despise us. Okay. So 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is our father. That's order. All right. Everything is about order and structure with the Most High. And he laid out his order. It's the Father. Under him is Yahawashi. Under him is the Israelite man. Under the Israelite man is the Israelite woman. Under the Israelite woman are the Israelite children. That is the pecking order. Whether you like it or whether you don't, you're going to have to convert and get used to it, or you're going to die. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all. All right. Let's go to Genesis 18. Verse 19. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi to do justice and judgment, that the Lord Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. So the role of the man is to be a leader, protector, teacher, and an example of righteousness in the home and in the nation. All right. But the problem is most women won't allow men to lead them because women think they're smarter. They think they're better. Just look at the television programming. They try to program women into believing that they're smarter than men, that men are just stupid, right? That men can't function and men can't tie their shoes without a woman giving them instructions and showing them the way. So they've convinced women that they're better off being the leaders and they're better off leading themselves because men are idiots that can't lead them. This is social engineering. See, because they are easily led astray by Satan. They are very easy to corrupt. And so they have been corrupted. And they are used as weapons against the Most High and against the Son of Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi. All right. And the Most High ain't gonna let there be a situation where women get to decide whether or not they want to lead or follow. No, you're gonna have to follow or you're gonna die. You don't get a choice. You're gonna have to get in order or die. Bottom line. The same way the Most High says that every nation that won't bend the knee unto us are going to utterly perish, the women that won't bend the knee to us are going to utterly perish also. That's the Most High's way. Because you not bending the knee to us is the same as rebellion against him. You got to understand how he sees this thing. All right? It is the structure. All right? If I give a command to my oldest son and I tell him, hey, I need you to get X, Y, Z done in the house, tell your siblings, blah, blah, blah. Right? And then he goes and he tells them, and they rebel against him, and they say, no, we ain't gonna do it, and they don't do it. Who did they really rebel against? They rebelled against me. So when I come in and I'm pissed because they didn't do what I said, because he told them what I told them to say, what I told him to say, right? And they wouldn't follow. They wouldn't do what was told. I'm going to take that personally. Although they didn't to my face say no, they told him. And he told them, hey, dad said. They knew that he was speaking on behalf of dad, and yet they rebelled. So it was the same as rebelling against me. I have a personal issue with them now. It's the same way with our father. We are his representatives. We are his men. When you rebel against us, you rebel against him. That is the bottom line. He takes it as a personal offense. All right. So the Most High, I should say, the Most High isn't raising up soft or passive men. We're watching the fall of soft and passive men, what we call simps. The simp age is coming to its end. That's why men are now shaming men for being simps, and men are now getting rid of that simp chip that was installed in them from their mothers when they were younger, installed in them by society at some point, right? Men are removing this chip. This chip is being removed via the Holy Spirit, right? Other men are helping men locate that simp chip and remove it, take it out, reclaiming masculinity and manhood again, and women are raging against it because power, right, has to be taken. It's never handed over. The women have been given power by Satan over the men. That's why the Most High says, "My people, women rule over them." Right? The women want to keep their rule, so they're not going to give it up, and so they are aligning themselves with Satan, with quote unquote white supremacy, because that's who is the strength of their power. Who else do you think is upholding their strength? Where else do you think they get the power and authority and the ability to lord over men? Because they have the power of the Romans, right? Being able to call the Romans, call the police, right? They have the power of the family court system that is in their favor. They have all of the stuff that's in their favor that gives them power over the Israelite man. But the Most High is bringing all of that down. He's changing it all. And women are going to have to come under subjection to the men who love and fear the Most High Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi. All right? So, again, he's raising the men who fear him, right? Who lead by the scriptures and who represent Yahawashi in conduct and in courage. All right? All right, we're being raised up to be priests, to be kings, to be rulers of the earth. All right, let's go to Exodus 19, verse 6. It says, "And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel." See, and again, the Most High doesn't make women priests, so we know that this is a message to the men, right? He is making us a kingdom of priests, all right? He is setting us up to rule. Let's go get Revelation 1 and 6. Regarding Yahawashi, and hath made us kings and priests unto the Most High, all right? And his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. That's what we're experiencing right now. We're being trained. We're being prepared for rulership, to be kings and to be priests. All right? And everyone is going to have to get in line underneath the kings and priests of the Most High Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi. All right? The men of the remnant who are not kings and priests are going to have to get in line under the 144,000. Right? The women are going to have to get in line under the 144,000 and under the men who are just of the remnant. All right? So our calling as men is to be priests, all right? To be kings, to be teachers of the law, to be examples to the world, right? And intercessors for the people. In the kingdom, Israelite men will be set up as rulers over cities, nations, and territories, right? Per Luke 19 and 17. But if we can't lead a household now, how are we going to lead cities later? You see, this is the first place we're getting to exercise that, where we're being taught. All right. We have to show ourselves to be faithful over little so that we can be given responsibility over a lot. All right. So again, to be providers, protectors, and builders. All right. But I did mention Luke 19 and 17. All right. Let's go ahead and get it. All right. Luke chapter 19, verse 17. And he said unto him, "Well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have thou authority over 10 cities." You see, that's what's going to happen, because remember, the whole earth is going to be our domain, our kingdom. And Yahawashi is going to delegate and give his servants rulership over territories and over people in those territories. All right? That's what's coming. Ladies, your men are going to be the future rulers of this earth. You might want to get in line. You might want to learn how to start respecting now, reverencing now, get in line now. All right. Again, we are going to be providers, protectors, and builders in the kingdom. Let's get 1 Timothy. Right now, we are prevented from being all of these things by being in the kingdom of our enemies. But when this kingdom of our enemies is brought down and our kingdom is raised up, we'll get to walk truly as men of the Most High get to walk. All right, without hindrance or obstruction. 1 Timothy 5, verse 8. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. You got to take care of home first. All right, you got to provide for your own. And the main way you got to provide for your own, for your household, is spiritually. So again, I got to provide spiritual guidance for my own family first before I can give it to everybody else. That's why these lessons are first and foremost for my own family. My family, my household, they watch my lessons. They follow this channel. They're listening, they're watching, they're learning, right? They're praying, they're thinking on these things, they're meditating on these things. It is my job to do this. If I want to be made a ruler over much, I got to learn, I got to first rule over my household. All right. But again, leadership is only as good as the followership. And sometimes the Most High will have to remove poor followers in order for the good rulership and leadership to stand out, to be of benefit, to be profitable. All right. And that's the problem in our community, is that our women are bred to be horrible followers. They have the worst followership of any women of any group. Again, that is not their own fault. It is the workings of Satan. It is their social programming and engineering that they have been bred to be this way, to be rebellious, to be hard-headed, to be stiff-necked, because they represent Israel. The state of the women represents, it reflects the state of the people. All right, a rebellious, hard-headed, stiff-necked people don't want correction. Look at our women, right? Don't want to be corrected, don't want to be, set in order. Look at our people and look at our women. But the Most High won't allow, them to remain this way. All right. The rebels will be purged out. That's the bottom line. You got to understand, he's not going to say, he's not going to want to hear any, but it's not my fault. He's not going to hear any of that. This is the time right now where you're being made ready. Stop raging against the red pill community. Stop raging and hating people like Kevin Samuels. That was the Most High's doing. That was the man the Most High raised up to help do that work. That work that he did, everything that he did, that women hated so much, that was the work of the Most High. See, the way they hated him is the way they hate godliness. They hate men of God. They hate men of the Most High. They hate the men that the Most High send. And they love the men that Satan sends. All of those men that's coddling them, you're good, sis. A real man would do X, Y, Z and just telling them the stuff they want to hear, the stuff that they themselves hear. Those are men sent by Satan. The men that they hate are the men sent by the Most High to correct them, to get them in order. Right? That's what they hate. All right. Isaiah 65, verse 21. And again, hate it all you want. If you don't convert and get in order, you will be destroyed. All right, because your role is to get in line. You don't get to have a say so. You don't get to have all that snap back and all that neck snapping and all of that retorting, and you know what I'm saying. And let me tell you, when you go here, I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind, and I got to get the last word. No, you gonna have to learn how to get some shut upness in you, some respect for authority, and it's the Most High's authority that He will wield through His men. You have to learn this. This is important. And you women, you have to teach it to the children. That's why it's important for the women to get this, because women pass along culture. Men create culture. Women teach and pass along the culture to the children. All right, Isaiah 65, verse 21. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. You see, in the kingdom, we'll no longer build for others. We'll build for our families, for our tribes, and our nation. But we have to train now, mentally, spiritually, and physically, in order to handle that kind of responsibility. All right. We're to be spiritual warriors, all right, not just physical ones. Okay. Let's go to 2 Corinthians 10. We're going to start at verse 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through our power to the pulling down of strongholds. All right. Again, this is talking about our spiritual warfare, right? Our weapons are spiritual. They are not carnal, not guns and knives and things of this world, right? We don't have our own military and nukes and everything else. No, we have the Most High Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi. That is our power. That is our strength. Okay. Let's get Psalm 144. Verse 1. Blessed be Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. See, we're gonna be like the Matrix. You seen the Matrix, right? We just get plugged in, and the Most High can just give us a an update. All right, and all of a sudden we know how to do things that we never trained for. All right, this is what's coming. This is what we're looking forward to, right? Because we have the role of being the soldiers of the Most High, being the ones in his army. That's why he says the Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies, and women don't participate in his army. Women don't rule. Women aren't priests. Women aren't kings, right? That's not what women do. That's what the men do. That's what the men will do. And women will support and love these men. They won't be out trying to do this, that, and the other. They won't be trying to rule households, and they won't be the head of the house, and men are just visitors there, and what I mean, the way this current world teaches women to view womanhood, motherhood, wifehood, and so forth in this current world, right? That's all gonna change. Right. But according to the scriptures that we just read, so, right. So we fight for our nation now with the word and with prayer and with discipline. Right. The kingdom will be handed to those who were warriors in spirit, right? Not just by strength, but by faith and by obedience. All right. So now we want to transition into talking about the role of Israelite women in the kingdom. All right. Our women are called to be holy, modest, and set apart. Okay. So let's go to 1 Peter chapter 3. 1 Peter chapter 3. Let's start at verse 3. Now, let's just start at the top. Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, not to rule over your husbands, be in subjection to your own husbands. Why did they have to teach this? Because they were trying to teach the women on godly order, on how to be in order under the Most High, try to get women prepared to live in a godly fashion. That's why the subject matter says godly living. Because the way we will live under Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi, is not how we live in this current world. It will not be the same. This is going to be a rough ride and a rude awakening for many women. Men also, but women are going to really, really struggle. Okay. Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may, without the word, be won by the conversation of the wives, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel. Because right now, women's beauty is judged by the outer appearance, right? That's why they, the weave and wig industry is booming, right? Booming. That's why the makeup industry booming. All right. Clothing industry booming. So everybody know that they can sell, expensive clothes to our people, especially to our women, and expensive handbags and everything else. That doesn't make any damn sense. It doesn't make any sense to be spending that much money on handbags that are simply for accessories. But they know of the vanity of our women. And so they play on it. All right. Because they know that our women, they're low in confidence. Their self-esteem is low. And so they try to raise their confidence and self-esteem by what they do outwardly. They're not working on themselves inwardly. They're trying to change themselves outwardly to get their confidence up. But again, of course, that's what Satan would do. That's what Satan would push because it's the opposite of the Most High. Satan does everything opposite from the Most High. The Most High puts an emphasis on inner beauty. Satan says, no, 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 no. Forget what you like on the inside, what you look like, though. Hmm. Is that booty popping, though? You get that BBL, girl. What you doing out here with no BBL? You basic B? You better put some makeup on and not just a little bit either. Put a whole lot of it on too, so that you look like a tranny out here, B. So that men can't tell the difference between you and you know what I'm saying and an elemental P individual. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So, again, that's satanic, man. Satan has done quite the work on our people. He's done quite the work on our women, especially because women are weaker vessels. They're easier to destroy. Easier. Same way in a fight, they're easier to beat up. All right. They are physically weaker and they are spiritually weaker. All right. This is not a derogatory statement, it's a statement of fact. All right. If your ego isn't on the line, then you can admit it also. And so we got to change inwardly. This is what even the men, we all got to be changed inwardly. That's what we got to work on. The inward man has to be renewed, has to be changed. Right? Spending all that time on your outward self and no time on your inward self is not going to profit you anything. Okay, but continuing on, it says, but let it be the hidden man of the heart. See, you got to change who you are inside. All right, you got to change your mind. Women, ladies, you got to change your minds. All right. You all talk about how you don't want to share no man and you shouldn't, but most of you do anyway. And it ain't because the men are no good. No, it's because that's the Most High's design. Men are living according to their design, and you're trying to make men be according to your mind. You don't want men to be how the Most High designed them. You want them to be how you want them to be. Right? Let's imagine if men, you know what I'm saying, just start collectively talking about how we don't want women to have, a monthly cycle. How women, if they really loved us and real women and good women don't have monthly cycles. And you're like, damn, but I'm a woman. I can't help but have a monthly cycle. So I can't be a real woman or a good woman because I have a monthly cycle, but I can't stop having this monthly cycle though. So that means I can never be a good woman. I might as well not even try. And that's what women do to most men. Women put men in a predicament where men are like, you know what? I shouldn't even try to be what these women call a good man because I can never be that because it's contrary to my nature. I can't stop being who I am and what I am. As much as the women want me to, as much as I love this woman, I can't stop being a man for her. But women are defining manhood and Satan is defining manhood and so the whole world is upside down, topsy-turvy and all messed up. Women, you got to change your heart, meaning your mind. You got to re-educate yourself, change yourself to understand what is the way of the Most High and what's the way of this world. If you love him, you got to change your mind to be after his heart, after his mind, to his liking, not according to what you were taught socially, what you were programmed to believe, to feel, to want, to desire, to understand. All right. And it says, continuing on, it says, but let it be of the hidden man of the heart in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit. Listen, Our women are known for being loud and boisterous. That is not godliness. That's not the the uh the appearance of godliness. All right. The ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of the Most High of great price. All right. Women should be humble, not haughty and arrogant, not loud and always want to be seen, always want to be heard. All right. For after this manner, in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in the Most High adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. Okay. So let's go to Proverbs 31. No, we got to go to Proverbs 31. We can't talk about a godly woman without going to Proverbs 31. Everybody should know that, but we're not going to read all of Proverbs 31 and 10 through 31. We're just going to come down straight to 30. And if you have never read Proverbs 31 and 10 through 31, that's your homework. Study to show thyself approved. Either do it when you're finished or pause the video, read it for yourself, and then press play again when you're done. All right, so Proverbs 31, verse 30. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. See, favor is deceitful. That's why all of these people who are out here just telling women, what they want to hear, they're deceiving women, but women don't care. They just love to hear what they love to hear. They love to hear, anybody say something that supports their feelings or supports their own thoughts. They don't want the truth. They want to be lied to. That's why men lie to them. All right. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. All right. But a woman that feareth the Lord, Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi, she shall be praised. All right. So the women of Israel are not like the women of the world. They aren't supposed to be, but Satan has made them like the other women of the world. But worse, he made them far worse than the other women of the world. And because Satan knows that the rest of the world, they follow after Israel, he knew that all he had to do was corrupt Israelite women, and then Israelite women would corrupt the other women, because that's what they do. We are a major influence. We get people to follow us. We set trends and everything else. Whatever we're doing, other people want to do, whether it be good or bad, right? Because of Israelite men in America, right? You get people you get other men all over the map trying to gangbang. Man, there are Bloods and Crips in Africa, man, right? I see videos, man. I've seen videos of Asians in China and in Japan and so forth, in Korea and so forth, trying to dress like the American black man, trying to dress hood, trying to dress street, trying to dress urban, trying to talk like us, act like us, walk like us, talk like us, be like us. We've seen videos of Asians in Asia, man, during their worship service, right? Look just like and sound just like a black church. They didn't used to be that way, but they've studied, they watched us, and they see us, and we influence them. This is what we do because we are the salt of the earth. Just right now, our powers are being used for evil and not for good. But we have the power to influence. So Satan says, I can use the Israelite man to influence and corrupt other men, and I can use the Israelite women to influence and corrupt other women. That's how we're being used right now. So Israelite women are supposed to be the standard of what women are, the example, the epitome of womanhood, of godliness in women. And Israelite men are supposed to be the same for men. All right. So the women of Israel, again, are not supposed to be like the women of the world. You're supposed to separate. Feminism is not supposed to be for you. It is a construct of Satan to destroy you and to use you to help destroy our people and the other women of the world, because Satan hates everybody. All right. So our sisters are called to be royal daughters, regal, not loud, vain, or rebellious. All right. In the kingdom, they'll be honored and protected because they'll be worthy of it. They're not worthy of it now. That's why they don't have it. Because remember, again, the women represent the nation, right? As long as us as a nation, as long as we were rebellious and outside of his covering, disrespecting him, we weren't worthy of protection or provision. So we were given over to prey to the other nations in the same way. our women are not worthy, so they are highly unprotected. They are not honored. You see, they are not greatly loved and so forth, and seen as delicate. No, because they're hard, they're rough, the thuggish, ruggish bone out here. The new street ninjas are women, are the Israelite women. You feel me? That's what's going on out here. And I'm not just making this up. I'm not saying this to disparage women. I'm a watchman. I keep my eyes open. I see what's going on. You may not see this in your world and due to your algorithm, but it's happening. It's going on. Otherwise, I wouldn't speak on it. I'm speaking on it because I know what's going on out here. Okay? So, like I said, they'll be honored and protected in the kingdom, but only those who walk in humility and obedience now. Now, the women who are deserving are being separated from the ones who are unworthy and not deserving. All right. So women also got to be builders of the nation and teachers of the young. All right. The men teach the women, and then the women teach the children what the men taught them. They don't come up with their own stuff to teach. No, they take what the men told them, what the men taught them, and then they teach that to the children. That's the order. That's the structure. The father told Yahawashi, taught Yahawashi. Yahawashi told, Yahawashi taught us, the men. Then we turn around, we teach the women. Then the women turn around and teach the children. That's the order in the kingdom. So we are being made for ready for that now. All right. So let's go to Titus chapter 2, verse 3. The aged women likewise, right, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not liars, not trying to lie on men for a come up, all right, not given to much wine, and to be teachers of good things, right, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed. This is the godly order. This is his instructions unto the women. This is what the women are supposed to do. This is how we're supposed to be getting our women ready for godliness, ready for the kingdom. All right. It's not just about knowing you're an Israelite. You're supposed to be getting transformed, getting ready for the kingdom. All right. So we got to tell the truth. Otherwise, the women won't be able to make it. If we love the women, our sisters, we got to teach them. We got to get them ready. We got to correct them. We can't just coddle them. We can't allow them to stay in dysfunction because that's what they love. We can't allow them to remain in chaos because that's what they enjoy. If you love them, you got to try to correct them. You got to discipline them. You got to help them get in order. You got to teach them, and you got to teach them the truth. Okay? Let's go to Proverbs 14. All right, Proverbs 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. All right. So a woman can build up her house or a woman can tear it down. All right. And that's what happens in most marriages is that they end because the women destroy them. In most, not all, in most, I said. And that is true. All right. The instances where the men are destroying the households, that's the minority. It happens, it's happening, but it's the smaller percentage of the occasions. That's why women are divorcing, are leaving their husbands 80% of the time. And women will say, "Well, oh, it's because she's being abused," and they always try to run to that. But that's not the truth. The majority of women are not being abused. That is the small percentage of women. The majority of men are not abusers. That is a small percentage of men. What is happening is that women are being used as vessels of Satan, and the men are running from it. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to separate yourself from wickedness, from demons. That's what we're supposed to do. And these women are vessels of demons and of Satan. And so men naturally run from these wicked spirits, from these demons that are inhabiting these women, that are possessing these women. These demons are making these women unfit for marriage, unfit for relationships. And so the men are protecting themselves by leaving. So then the women get upset and they tell their children, your dad left us, your dad didn't love you. No, he left you. He left the woman. The men don't leave their children, they leave the women. And then the women utilize their power, their control over the children to get back at the men. Right? Even if the woman leave, she tries to use the children, the power over the children against the men. You see? So the role of the righteous woman is to build, not to destroy, to guide the next generation of daughters and support the righteous men of Israel as they labor for the kingdom. That's what the women are supposed to do. You're supposed to be a helpmeet. You're supposed to help the men of Israel fulfill their destiny, fulfill their purpose. All right? We're trying to usher in the kingdom. You women, you're supposed to be a help. Okay? You are supposed to be a help, not a hindrance. All right. But Satan has made most of our women a hindrance to progress, an enemy of progress, saboteurs, Trojan horses. That's what that's what you would do if you were Satan, isn't it? Absolutely. Exactly what's happening is exactly what you would do if you were Satan. And so that's what Satan is doing. All right. So our women are supposed to be honored for submission, not for shame. See, because our women view submission as shame, and and so they're wayward, right? They view submission as slavery and oppression, and so they're rebellious, and their rebellious nature brings shame upon them. It devalues them as women. It makes it so that they're not seen as feminine. They're not seen as women. You see? So let's get Ecclesiasticus, aka Sirach. We want 26. Ecclesiasticus 26, verse 1. Blessed is the man that has a virtuous wife, not just has a wife. Blessed is the man that has a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband. What kind of woman rejoices her husband? A virtuous woman. But in today's modern society, modern women are not virtuous. That's why they don't rejoice their husbands. That's why their husbands are miserable. And so their husbands can't make them happy because they are making their husbands miserable. And so their husbands turn around and give to their wives what they are getting from their wives. Right. So women talk about, oh, they're doing the bare minimum and I can't even get the bare minimum. It's because he can't get the bare minimum from you. You started off on fire, right? Doing all of the stuff that he liked. And then you got him. You got married. And then all of a sudden you stopped. He started having to beg for affection, beg for respect, and so forth, and hasn't been able to get it. And then what happens over time? Because men don't just say, you know what, I'm out of here. They say, all right, men just change. Men change into different people on who they got to turn into in order to stay in their circumstances. You see, because men are more loyal than women are. That's why men will stay loyal to the same losing team, same to the same barber, right? Men will say, gang banging, be loyal to the set, even though, even if it's at the risk of death and jail, imprisonment, right? Be loyal to the same woman who don't deserve for them to be loyal to them. Enduring all sorts of BS from the woman because men don't just up and leave. We're not in a society that would allow for that because the systems, the court system, everything is in favor of the woman. So men learn to just accept oppression and accept, what I'm saying, receiving little to nothing from women. So then they just start giving it back. Men start mirroring the women. They become mirrors of the woman. They start giving back what they're getting. But the women, see, they can't take that. They can't take what they give. So once they start receiving what they have been given, oh, they're out. They're like, oh, I'm out of here. I can't take this. I don't gotta take this. I'm gone. That's what happens. Because they're not virtuous women. They're just women. All right. They're not virtuous wives. They're just wives. Some of them. All right. Most are not wives. All right. And what did they say about this type of man? A virtuous woman shall rejoice her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace. Right? Let's come down to verse 14. It reads, a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. All right. So our women have to be well instructed. If you want to become valuable women in the eyes of the Most High, you have to become well instructed. If you want to be women that are worthy of good men, godly men, men of Yahawah, you have to become well instructed. The Most High is not about to give you to his beloved sons. No, he ain't about to give you. You got that Jezebel spirit in you. He ain't about to give you to his beloved son. You about to have to deal with these men who you are deserving of. The only men who he wants you to have, because you're going to destroy those men. He don't care about those men being destroyed by you. So he's going to let you have those men. And you go complain about those men, right? And you're going to believe that you are worthy of these other men, these better men, but you are not. Otherwise, you would have them if you were. That's how the Most High operates. Women, you're getting what you deserve. You don't deserve better. You deserve exactly what you got. That's why you got it. All right, you'll get women out here talking about, oh man, I'm ready to just give it to the Most High and just wait for Him to send me a man, and He's gonna send me a better man because I deserve it. The man that He sent you that whipped your ass, you deserved him. That's why you had him. The man that you complain about, yeah, He sent him too. The Most High don't just send you a great man. You're right. The desire of your heart. He also sends you, you know what I'm saying, these men that you don't like, the ones that you don't want, that you don't respect, that you complain about because that's what you are worthy of. You don't deserve what you think you deserve. You are not worthy of what you think you are worthy of because you are not high value women who deserve high value men, not the men who are high value according to the Most High. That is, you see, a shamefaced and a faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. All right. So, again, this is what you should be transforming into as a woman. All right. The examples are here. The criteria is here. The measuring stick, it is here in the scriptures. So, there is no excuse for not transforming because you can't say, well, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't know how I was supposed to be. I didn't know how I was supposed to transform. All right. So the women of the kingdom will be adorned with honor. All right. Not exposed to shame. All right. They'll be respected and exalted and secured, but only the ones who walked in fear and righteousness now. All right. You're going to be glorified in the kingdom for faithfulness in captivity. That applies to both men and women. We're going to be glorified in the kingdom for faithfulness in captivity. And our women to speak to women because our women don't believe that they should be faithful or loving to the men in captivity because they blame the men for the captivity, right? They say we're the reason why they're in captivity, that they blame us for slavery. Oh, y'all didn't all die for us and y'all let us be enslaved. And so we don't got to respect you. Why should I respect you when you in captivity with me? We in captivity together. Why should I respect you? Why should I honor you? I'm going to respect and honor the man that took you captive. That's the mindset of our women, and our women got to change that mindset because they don't understand that the Most High is the one that put us in captivity, and He's going to take us out of it, and He's going to make us rulers. Meanwhile, you're spitting on the men who are going to be the rulers because you don't see the value in us yet. It's not evident unto you. All right, let's get Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. This world is going to get so bad that women are going to beg to be married to men. All of this, we don't need a man, that's all going to stop. It's going to cease. It's going to change. That ideology is going to die along with this present world. All right. Women are going to say that they're going to take care of their own supply their own needs. They don't even need you to 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 pay their way, to buy them this, to pay for that, to provide for them. They just need to be under your protection, under your umbrella, under your covering, right? To be married unto you, to the men of the Most High. The men of the Most High is going to, again, we're going to be made more precious than fine gold. All right. We're going to be the true high value men of the earth, and many women will take hold of one man. They're going to all cling to the same man, and they're going to enjoy it. They're going to like it. They're going to be happy with it. They're going to shut their mouths and not complain about it. They're going to share and they're going to like it. All right. That time, that day is going to come. You might as well start transforming now, because any rebellious women who will not transform, they will die. All right. Verse 2. In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. The branches are the men. In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful. We're going to be glorified. We're going to be amazing to behold. All right. We're going to be beautiful and glorious. And the fruit of the earth, our children, shall be excellent, because we're going to repopulate the earth. That's why all of these women are going to take hold of one man. It's going to be one man to many women, because the men are going to turn around and repopulate the earth, because this is going to be after most of the men of the earth are killed. You see, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely, beautiful for them that are escaped of Israel, those who escape death, who escape the sword, famine, pestilence, and so forth. All right. Look, and it says, verse 4, when the Lord, let's start at verse 3. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even everyone that is written among the living in Jerusalem. When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion. This is what's happening. We are in the time period where the Most High is washing us through the word, the men and the women. He has to wash away the filth from his daughters. He has to get rid of, because again, prostitute culture is the black woman's culture today. The rebellious nature, right? The I hate men, I hate black men, all of that. He has to cleanse them of all of this, of all the curses that are upon them. He has to heal them. He has to wash them clean, right? And shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. Okay, this is what's coming. All right, and so ladies have to be made ready for the coming kingdom. All right, for what lies ahead. It's going to be, again, a hard road for the women who aren't being prepared for it ahead of time. All right, in the wilderness, it's going to be a lot of Israelite women out there who have never heard these teachings, never heard these lessons, but they're going to be out there, and then they're going to start hearing this stuff, and they're going to be like, "What? Man, ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way." And they go get purged out. They're going to get killed, or they're going to get tossed out from among our congregation, and they're going to be killed out there in the rest of the world, right? When the rest of the world out there is experiencing the book of Eli times 10,000. Right? So Isaiah 60, verse 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles. All right? And that their kings may be brought. All right, again, because this is where we're headed. All right, this is where we're headed. This is where we're headed to. So sisters who endure now, right, through pain, the submission, the faith, right, those women will shine in the kingdom. They'll be healed. They'll be honored and secured forever. But they must resist the temptation to return to the ways of Babylon. You got to come out of her, my people, that you be not a partaker of her sins, because the Most High is going to destroy this place, the powers of it, and the ways of this place. Okay? And so the men and the women, we have to work together for the good of the nation. All right, let's get 1 Corinthians 12. Let's get verse 12. For as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is a Mashiach. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one Spirit. For the body is not one member, but many. All right. So there are many in this body having different responsibilities. And the responsibility of the women is to assist and aid the men. That is the function of the women, to love the men, to be an inspiration to the men, right? To be a muse. Women were created to be a man's muse, right? To be inspiring, right? To be helpful, to be useful to the man, all right? To be a support to the man, not the other way around. The men aren't created to support women, to help women's lives be easier. No, women are created, were born in order to make men's lives easier. See, women got it messed up because, again, Satan turns everything of the Most High upside down. The Most High says the women's job is to support the men and to make men's lives easier by helping to work and helping the men out. And Satan says, no, the man's job is to help women, support women, to take care of women, to make women's lives easier by making sure that they don't got to do nothing. They can just be princesses and kick their pinky toes up and don't have to do no work. Because that's what a real man is. A real man make sure this woman don't got to do nothing. So what they're saying is that the Most High didn't create real men. Satan created real men, because that's not the Most High. That's not how he created us. That's not what he created us for. That's not the instructions that he gave to Adam and Eve, nor to Israel in any generation. Okay? So we all have different roles, but we all have roles, all right? We have different positions, but we all have positions. Different functions, but we all have functions, all right? All right? And even with these differences in roles, positions, and functions, we have the same goal, or we should, which is to build the kingdom of Yahawah and to serve under Yahawashi in truth and in righteousness. Correct? I hope so. I hope everybody can agree with that. All right, let's get Romans chapter 12, verse 4. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we, being many, are one body in a Mashiach, and everyone members one of another. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy, or according to the proportion of faith. All right. So whether you teach, support, organize, raise children, sing, sow, or build, do it with dedication. All labor in Yahawah is valuable when done in truth and obedience. All right. So we're being transformed. We are not the tail anymore. All right. We are not lost anymore. We are not victims anymore. We are the sons and daughters of Zion, men of valor, women of virtue, a nation reborn. All right. So let every man take up his post. Let every woman rise up in righteousness. All right. Let every soul prepare for rulership. Because what's coming next is order, is glory, and it's ours. Call Haloyim like Yahawah Ba'Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahawashi, Waharakak Wadash. All right. Grace, peace, and blessings to the family. I'll see you guys on the next one. Yahawah willing. If you were blessed, be a blessing to someone else. Each one, reach one. Shalom.